From the studios of KHTS in beautiful downtown Newhall, California, it's time once again for Families in Action with your host, Cary Quashen. Families in Action is brought to you by Action Family Counseling, drug and alcohol counseling for teens and adults, and by the Action Family Foundation, and by KHTS AM 1220, your hometown station. And now, here's the man with the most. Here's your host, Cary Quashen.
The man with the most? I thought that was you.
Nah.
You know what they call him? The silver fox,
The
guys.
silver fox.
That's right. The silver fox. I mean, look, I get it.
You get,
I get it.
Had something to do with the hair, I think.
Yeah, and by the way, everybody, Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year, Cary.
Hope everybody had a great, safe, Happy New Year's.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all have to spend the rest of this week remembering to write 2016.
You know what? I did that today for the first time. I was paying the gardener, and I was like, uh-oh, I almost wrote 2015. So yeah, we have to spend the rest of the week remembering that. That's exactly true.
And by the way, I had a surprise on New Year's Eve.
Uh-oh. What was that?
I had no anticipation that I was going to see midnight come around. I figured I'd fall asleep before that. We were watching an old movie, a classic movie, my wife and I.
Which one?
And I don't even remember now. And I fell asleep.
It was that good.
It was that good. I fell asleep. And apparently I took a short enough nap that I was able to stay up. When I woke up, I actually saw in the new year.
You know, it was really cool. We went and saw the Gladys Knight. You know what's really sad?
Yes.
Which kind of brings us into what we're going to talk about anyways. What's really sad is when I bought the tickets to Gladys Knight, it was downtown, and she was wonderful, by the way. Mm-hmm. But it said, thank you for purchasing your tickets to Natalie Cole, which just passed away the day after the concert. So I guess she was the original one that was supposed to play, but due to health reasons, she couldn't do it. So there you go. So we saw Gladys Knight. We're a very, very good show. The sad thing is you know what took Natalie Cole?
What's that?
At the end of the day, her health because of drugs.
Because of drugs.
Yeah, I mean, you had a kidney transplant and all kinds of stuff, and she's suffered from addiction problems for many, many, many years. And as we say every year, there's 47,000 people that die. That's just from overdoses.
Now it's probably over 50,000.
But you know what,
you
Mike?
and I were guessing.
That's just from overdoses.
Yeah.
47,000 people lose their lives to overdoses. We're not talking about health reasons and other stuff like what happened to Natalie Cole. The number goes, it can double or triple.
Yeah.
So it's just when you see the people just fall away, it's really a pretty sad state of affairs, isn't it?
It is. It's a waste of a human life, but then think of what that person might have done. Well, in Natalie's case, she was a gifted singer.
Oh, my.
And she provided so much entertainment, and she could have recorded so much more.
She could have done so much more with her life. But then, all these people saying, when you think about drug addiction and all that, most of these are great people.
Yes.
That made one bad choice and started playing around with drugs, and before you know it, something bad happened. And like Natalie Cole, they got addicted. And the life, I always say alcohol and drugs make good people do bad things, turns good dreams into nightmares. And at the end of the day, one of three things happen. You get sober, you die, or you go into some kind of institutions. So there's not a fourth option.
There's really only one good choice out of those two, or three.
Yeah.
Hey, Cary, I have to stop you because you've brought this up a couple of times, but I want to bring it up this time. Yeah. And that is you just recently celebrated a major sobriety milestone.
I did. 35 years clean and sober.
35?
35 years clean and sober Christmas Eve.
And you make it sound so easy, but really you were in a place where you were about to pull the trigger. And
it was a bad situation 35 years ago. And it's like I always say, people don't just wake up and want to get sober. I mean, they wake up and want to get sober because something something in their life is not going well. Their life's in a shamble, and trust me, mine was in a shamble. And it was at the end of the road where I had three choices. Just like we just said, institutions, death, or sobriety. And I chose sobriety, and I'll tell you what, I haven't turned back. And for 34 of my 35 years, I've been working with people, and I wouldn't change that for anything.
Yeah.
So it's been a great, it's been a roller coaster, let me tell you, but it's been a great, I wouldn't change it for anything.
But the great thing about it is, Cary, besides the fact that you've been sober for 35 years, that when you personally are talking to people that want to get sober,
right?
You know that road.
I know the road, but I'll tell you, it's an interesting deal, because I remember when I was first getting clean and somebody walked in the room and said, I have 20 years, and I went, get out of here. You probably smoke weed in the bathroom. It was just, you can't even comprehend that.
No, there's no way.
But when somebody walked in the room and said, I have 7 days or 3 weeks, I went, whoa, how'd they do that? So it's just kind of one of those kind of deals where you just kind of never know. You just got to go with it, and you do it one day at a time. That's kind of where the show is going today, isn't it? We want to talk about New Year's resolutions, and I don't really like calling things resolutions. Do you?
I don't make New Year's resolutions, because all year I'm basically fine-tuning.
Exactly. So what's better, guys, than saying New Year's resolution, which we make every single year? What's some of the resolutions that everybody makes?
Well, one of them is dieting. Another one is I'm going to get into shape.
I'm going to lose 20 pounds.
Right.
And really, if it's a resolution, that we kind of never really do it.
No. And I have to say, I was kind of jokingly asking people that I met this weekend. I'd go to buy something, and I'd ask the clerk, and say, by the way, how many New Year's resolutions have you broken already? And there was always a smile, and they would say, well, one so far, or none so far, but the week isn't over. So you know what happens. People they don't do it.
Right. So and some of the resolutions that people make is, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to lose my weight. I'm going to hit the gym. I'm going to go 5 times a week, or whatever the deal is. I'm going to stop drinking. I'm not going to do any drugs, or I'm going to do less. So those are the kind of things that I hear all the time. And instead of making resolutions, I think we should make goals.
That's a good idea.
Goals are easier to kind of follow through than resolutions.
And realistic goals.
Right. So let's say you want to lose 20 pounds. Fine. Well, that's your goal. How you can do it? So now you got to come up with a plan. So if you're going to make a resolution, a goal, whatever it is, have the goal. And then also come up with the plan, something that you can do to follow through. I mean, when you talk about alcohol and drugs, and I hear this all the time, it's kind of interesting, because everybody thinks more people want to get sober during the holidays. That's really very far from true. People drink more during the holidays, or party more.
Because it's everywhere.
Because it's everywhere, and now they have excuses. And now everyone's drinking. Even people that don't drink are drinking with them. So it's a lot different and harder to get sober. After the holidays, everything kind of falls apart. They drank too much, they used too many drugs, they partied too much, it's hard to go to work. And for adolescents, now school's coming back, it's harder for them to get back into the groove of things. So people go, oh my God, and they make more commitments to want to be sober. Now, that's a great deal. But to say to yourself, my New Year resolution is, let's pick one, not to drink. Or let's change that. My New Year's resolution is, I'm going to drink less. So exactly what does that mean?
It's a lot like the products you find in the grocery store that say reduced fat. What does that mean? Reduced from what to where?
Exactly. But that's good, Mike. I like that. So I'm going to drink less. So what does that exactly mean? And well, that means to a lot of people, I'm not going to drink Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to drink Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Look out.
Yeah.
And he's going to make up for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right?
Right. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday comes, and what do? They drink way too much, number one. Now Sunday comes and they're hungover. So how do you get rid of the hangover? you drink a little bit more.
Hair of the dog,
So now it's
supposedly, yeah.
Sunday, and then it's Monday, and then it's Tuesday. So kind of one of those, well, I'm going to drink less, usually doesn't work for long. It's a short, activated deal. It's like, okay, good try. Now what? So, and rarely have we seen people that really have a drinking problem that can just set a resolution and say, I'm going to stop, and stop. And now, all good intentions. I believe that most people, when they say that, really mean it.
Sure.
Just like when they say, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do this stuff. People mean it. In fact, the gym, what was it called when you sign up to gym?
Right.
It goes way up.
Exactly.
But in 2 weeks, most of those people who signed up aren't there.
Aren't showing up, right?
They're not showing up.
They're paying for it, but they're not showing
They're paying
up.
for it, but they're not showing up. It's just like going to sporting goods. People buy more sports stuff.
Right.
And they take it home.
Now, you work out regularly.
I do.
And you've been doing that for...
Over a year.
Yeah, over a year.
Over a year.
And I've been working out for years, and I do that in my home.
Right. But it wasn't even a resolution to me. It was a goal.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm committed to this deal, and I'm going to do it. And I have 3 days a week at certain times where I go to the gym. The rest I do at home. So I'm pretty serious about that. But what happens is so many people make these kind of deals with themselves and can't really follow through. Now, let's say you got somebody that's been drinking every day. And all of a sudden they're going to stop. How?
Right. How?
How are you going to do that? So really, have we seen people really follow through without a real plan?
Well, and on top of that, the people that are doing what you're talking about are not getting a support group together. In other words, they're not saying to their family, hey, guess what? This is what I'm going to do. Can you kind of,
Right.
be there for me, and telling their friends and all that. So they're doing a solo act.
Yeah. Now, 27 years ago, I quit smoking cigarettes on New Year's. And I was almost 3 packs a day. So
Wow.
It was really crazy. I told everybody for a month before, I'm quitting New Year's. I made such a big deal out of it that everybody knew I was going to quit. So I almost forced myself into a corner. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sure.
So it was but I also had a plan. I had my little, what is it called, Nicorette gum,
There you go.
and all that kinds of stuff, and I was ready to do it. So saying something, committing to something is different.
But not
And having a plan is even more.
But not everybody can do what you said about smoking.
That's true.
They do the same kind of thing. I'm going to quit. They throw the cigarettes away, and they're having a nick fit in an hour.
Well, but and that's exactly what I'm saying. Today, there's a whole lot of ways of quitting everything.
Sure
Let's
is.
say you want to quit smoking. There's Nicorette gum. There's patches. Doctors have all kinds of
Henry
stuff.
Mayo has the smoking cessation
Henry
program.
Mayo has a smoking cessation thing, and that's kind of what we're talking about. Versus one of those kind of, I'm going to quit. How? Come up with a plan.
And it's not easy because it's addiction.
That's why Henry Mayo has a group that can help you do that. That's why there's Nicorette gum. That's why there's patches. That's why there's support groups.
So you're not saying to people out there listening that they can't do it. They
No,
can do it, but
I'm
they have to
saying
go about it the right way.
Come up with a plan.
Right.
Yeah, saying something and doing something is different. Plan it out. Okay, I'm going to quit smoking. I've been smoking cigarettes for 25 years. How are you going to just wake up and quit? It doesn't quite work that way. Come up with a plan. Look into some stuff that are out there that'll help you follow through and help you stay committed to your goal.
And there's a saying that almost sounds a little bit flippant, and you've heard it before, but it's actually true if you think about it. And here it is. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah, exactly.
And just think about that for a minute. If you don't plan, you're setting yourself up to fail.
Right. And but then again, a lot of people make these goals that are unrealistic, and they know it. They're saying all this stuff, and they kind of want to do it, and they kind of know, oh my, I really need to stop smoking cigarettes. It's going to kill me. I need to stop drinking. I need to lose 20 pounds. I need to hit the gym. I need to stop eating so much. They know all this. They're making their little verbal deals, but they're not committed to it.
So when they fail, they can say, well, I knew.
I tried.
I tried.
I tried, did the best I could.
I did the best I could.
Yeah, and what we're saying is, hey, it's more than trying.
It's like my son. He was not doing well in school. And
Right.
he said one day he came out of his room and he said, I'm going to be a straight A student. I'm going to be a straight A student. And I looked at him and I said, why don't we just try to do, like C's and then we can head to the B's. And then we can, let's do no, I'm going to be a straight A student. Well,
Right.
Guess what happened?
And by the way, y'all can do any of this stuff. If you want to quit smoking cigarettes, it's doable, but it's just more than saying it. Come up with a plan, investigate. Call your insurance company, ask for some counseling. Go to your doctor, get some prescriptions for this. Like I said, there's Nicorette gums, there's patches, there's all kinds of other medication.
Counseling, absolutely.
Yeah, go to Henry Mayo if you're up here in Santa Clarita. There's a smoking tobacco group
Right.
that will really help you make it through it. And in fact, if you call that 800 number, it's on television all the time. Buy the cigarette people, they actually will give you information. So there's all kinds of ways to stop that behavior.
But it takes some work. It takes some effort. You got to do it.
It takes commitment.
That's it.
It really does. It takes, I'm going to make a commitment to this deal. The other thing is, drinking. There's so many, it's kind of, and alcohol is kind of scary because 25% of people who are addicted to alcohol that actually try to quit on their own can die.
Yes.
So we want people to understand that, look, if you're having a problem with alcohol, it's a lot more than I want to quit. It really takes some planning to do that. So
Because your body is going to go through some real processes that need help.
exactly, your body's going to go through some extreme processes, and emotionally, so are you too. So you need a lot more support. So it's great, get all the family support you can get, but you might want to look into some medical attention too. There's doctors, there's the hospital here, there's detox places. You can always call Action. There's also doing it alone is it's doable, but a lot harder.
Well, I actually get calls from time to time, as you do, from people who say, my husband is doing this, or he's trying to detox on his own, or she's trying to detox. And that's a scary thing. And you want to let them know, hey, you need help with that. Don't play around with that.
Yeah, I had somebody text me this morning, I'm on 50-something milligrams of methadone. Can I just quit? Yeah, you could just quit, but you might go through some severe withdrawals and really find yourself in big trouble. Instead of just quitting, go to the doctor that's prescribing it and have him wean you off.
And we're not saying this to scare people. We're saying this to help people. We're saying
Right.
this so I do need some help with this.
Well, we also don't want you to set yourself up for failure.
Exactly.
I want to do this, fine, but you got to come up with a way to do it. You can't just do it. There's little steps that you might have to take, especially when you're physically addicted to something. And by the way, that means tobacco too. It's one of the most addicting drugs there is.
Sure is.
So you got to come up with a ways to kind of do it. And what we're saying is there's some serious medical attention that might need to be happening, especially when it comes to alcohol. When it comes to muscle relaxers, benzos, opiates, those kind of drugs are one of those kind of things where, hey, we're really glad you want to stop, but you might need to get a little more help. And then once you do it, you might want to get some support to keep it going. There's a lot of recovery groups out there, 12-step programs, counseling, therapy, and all kinds of stuff that will help you follow through.
And when you do
keep
that,
you accountable to yourself.
and when you do all that you just mentioned, then your odds of success go way up.
Way up. Exactly. Hey, guess what time it is?
I think it's time for a break.
Why don't we take it?
All right. We'll be right back with more Families in Action right after these messages on KHTS AM 1220, your hometown station.